Theme of Roman's talk today is on alignment. Thank you. Roman?
If you've ever had an opportunity to shoot an arrow from a bow, maybe doing archery at summer camp, you might be, like I was, surprised at how taut a real life bow is. It's very tight. So you have to pull the arrow back with all of your strength. But in order to hit your target, you must be able to keep the arrow aligned with the bullseye and release it while it is still in alignment, so that with that tension, that arrow will fly directly into its target. Likewise, in our life, we have to make sure we are aimed and we are aligned with our objective. Alignment, according to its dictionary definition, is a position of agreement or alliance. A position of agreement or alliance, it comes from being literally lined up with something. So when we picture ourselves being in agreement with someone or something, or in an alliance, we're together, we're in line with, we're on the same track with those, or our target or our goal or our objective. For ourself, in order for us to reach to higher levels of consciousness, we must keep ourselves in alignment. But how do we stay aligned? And what are we staying aligned with? Well, the objective we're staying aligned with is the self, the inner objective. The self is made up of the values. The values are what you find to be important. So what are your values? What do you find to be important? A part of the values is what you actually desire, what you actually want. So all of us need to have a purpose for what we desire, what we want. That purpose is a pursuit. It is a goal. It is an objective. It is a target. It is a bullseye that we are aiming for in our life, so that we know what we need to stay in alignment with. So take a moment and reflect. Are you aligned with your purpose? Do you at least know what your purpose is? Do you know what objective you are aiming for? To choose this, it doesn't need to be some deep concept or a search where we go off to India or Africa or Budapest to find our purpose in life. No, we must recognize that our purpose is something that we choose. It is a goal that you set. So what do you want to do? Because you are raw materials. And so if I handed you flour, like cooking flour, and you said, well, what is the purpose of the flour? The purpose is whatever you use the flour for. You can bake a cake, you can make bread, right? You can make cookies. There's a lot of things you can use flour for. Likewise, you are raw materials. You have your time, you have your energy, you have your gifts, you have your talents, but it is up to you to create the purpose, to decide upon a purpose, to choose a goal or an objective. So just contemplate, if you haven't yet, what do I want to accomplish over the next 400 to 600 days? Because the time is going to pass anyway. Might as well have something to show for it. Well, how do you choose? How can I choose my purpose if I don't know what my purpose is already? How do I choose that? And what if I don't know what I want? Well, to choose a purpose and to want to and to choose what you want, it's all synonymous. You see, the concept of what we want or what we desire is what we choose to want. Your wants are a choice. This goes over the head of many individuals, many very well-educated professors and teachers are going around espousing an idea that you do not have free will, because they say you're actually just controlled by your wants. But they overlook the simple, very simple fact that we decide what we want. Our free will at its very core is our ability to choose, to make a choice, to make a conscious decision. So you get to choose what you want. So don't ask yourself, what do I want, in the sense of I have to find what I want or discover it, or like it's a feeling. We need to choose our wants objectively. Objectively, what does that mean? The dictionary definition of objectively is in a way that is not controlled by feelings. So you need to choose what you want objectively, meaning in a way that is not controlled by your feelings. So what you want is not just about the ebb and the flow of the hormones and the emotions that you're feeling in your body. What you want and what you desire is what you cultivate a want and a desire for. So choose to cultivate a want and a desire for something that's going to be beneficial, that's going to be healthy, it's going to be of good favor for yourself and those around you. What is something in the next 400 to 600 days that you can do with yourself, your raw materials, that will be of benefit to yourself equally to those around you? And that will be your objective. This will be your purpose. Having a purpose is like having a due north on a compass. If you don't know which direction is north, then you can't find east or west. Likewise, if you don't know what your purpose is, then you can't define what's going to be a good decision or a bad one for you. You see, because you have to make sure your decisions are adaptive, not maladaptive, just meaning that they're good, helpful, propitious, beneficial, in your favor. That's an adaptive decision, something that is adjusted to the current circumstance that you're in. If it's maladaptive, that means it hasn't adjusted to the current circumstance. It means it might be based on your old subconscious programs from childhood. If it's maladaptive, it means it might be based on just feelings. But we need to be objective in choosing our purpose and choosing our wants, our desire. The direction, the target that you're aiming at is the one you choose. So choose a good one. Choose one that will be to your benefit and to the benefit of those around you. The time is going to pass anyway. Might as well have something to show for it. Why is it so important that we know our purpose? A person who doesn't know their purpose is easily controlled. Someone who is not purpose-driven is easily controlled by fear, causes them to be a fear-driven person. So that's easy to manipulate. You see, when someone's very fear-driven, then you can just tell them fearful things and you can motivate them. You can actually move them to do whatever it is you want to do. So they use fear as the motivator in their own life. And now you can just, and you see the problem, there are people who are wanting to control you, because what you may not have recognized about yourself is you are raw materials. You are resources, and people want your resources, your time, your money, your beauty, your talents, your car, your house. They want access, your attention, your credit, your reputation, your children. They want what you have. And so it's so important that you don't allow yourself to be easily controlled and manipulated by others, because the manipulators are plentiful and they are looking for the opportunity to use and abuse you without mercy. If we have our objective, if we have our due north, we are not easily controlled and manipulated because we know where we are going. Our direction is defined. Can you see the benefit of understanding your purpose? We need to be driven in life by purpose and love, but never fear. Fear needs to be sitting in the back seat. It works for us. It advises us. It lets us know what it thinks, what it fears, what the concerns are, but it is not the boss. So when we are no longer fear-driven, we are no longer easily controlled. When we are no longer easily controlled, then we are free. because now we are self-guided, we are self-driven, we are able to choose a purpose. And some people choose as their purpose something that is deep, something that is beneficial, something that is spiritual. And now having that spiritual purpose, they are aligned when they work every day in accordance with that very purpose they've chosen. Having a purpose means you know what direction to go, what decision to make, if it's going to be helpful to you or if it's going to hurt you. Without your purpose, how do you know whether you can drink alcohol or not? How do you know? Whether you should have this drink, someone gives you a drink, how do you know if you should have it or not? If you don't know what your objective and your purpose is, how do you know if a woman is flirting with you at a bar or a guy is texting you, how do you know whether you should get into a relationship with them or not if you don't know what your purpose is? Your purpose allows you to test everything against it and then decide if it's aligned with your purpose or not. So then you know what decision is right for you. This is sophisticated thinking. We cannot be like a child thinking there's right decisions and wrong decisions. We just have to pick the right decisions. It's different for everyone. Many people are living their lives to please others at the detriment to their own health. Your job, your purpose is not to please other people. You are autonomous. So you must choose. Autonomous, auto, meaning you alone. You're the boss. Self-done, self-guided, self-driven. You choose your purpose. Not your mom, not your dad. If you're an adult, you choose your purpose. That's your job. And when you do that, you feel happier. Why do we feel happier when we've chosen our purpose and we're working towards it? Because now we're operating the self the way it was designed to be operated. We're using it according to the manufacturer's instructions. Purpose helps to make it clear when we should help people and when we should not help people. That is one of the most important aspects of being aligned with your purpose, is understanding when we should help people and when we should not help people. Because for us as empaths, we feel like we always want to help people because we feel bad and we feel guilty. When people need something, we feel impelled to do something to help them. When we see injustice, we feel impelled to stand up for what is right. But if you've ever lived a typical day in the system, it can be confusing. When you leave your house, and before you've even walked out of your door, you've got family members asking for you to give them something, to help them with something. And then when you walk out of the house and you stop at the gas station, there's someone there who's asking you for something, who wants a handout. Do you have any spare change? Do you have anything you can give me? And then when you go in, they want to know if you will round up your purchase so that you can donate a portion to those in need. And then there's people trying to sell you things. And there's people trying to borrow things from you. And you realize at the end of just one day, if I tried to give to everyone who wanted something from me, it would be unsustainable. And so if you don't understand your purpose, your objective, then you may actually fall into the trap of trying to give and then finding out the hard way, it's unsustainable. It's not possible. Or you may be so racked with guilt that you couldn't give to everyone that it harms your emotional health. Meanwhile, there's social issues, there's work injustice, there's injustice in the family. There's your nieces and nephews are being abused by your abusive brothers and sisters, and your abusive parents still have other siblings in the house, and you don't know where you should go, who you should be helping if you don't understand your purpose. So how do we know who to help? How do we figure out who we're supposed to help when everyone virtually is looking for the help? and it's unsustainable for us to help everyone. How do we figure it out? One word: alignment. Alignment. One time when Jesus was teaching a crowd of people, someone yells out from the crowd in the middle of his sermon, "Jesus, tell my brother to split the inheritance with me because he took my portion of the inheritance and his own, and that's not fair." Did Jesus help the man? No. Jesus said to the man, "Who appointed me a portioner over your belongings?" In other words, that's not my job, bro. In other words, that's not aligned with my purpose. So how did Jesus know who to help and who not to help? Because no one can accuse this man of not helping people. It was because he understood what his purpose was. And when he looked at the man's request and he compared it with his purpose, it wasn't in alignment. So he refused it and said no. And later, when a Phoenician woman came up to him and said, "Can you heal my daughter?" his initial response was no. Why? Because she wasn't of the nation that he was there to serve. He was focused on his purpose. Now, later, when he saw her faith, he chose to be reasonable and make an exception. But notice the initial answer. It wasn't just, yes, 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 anybody who wants anything, I just give. No, alignment. And when he's teaching in the tabernacle and his mother, his own mother, and his brothers are outside, and they're saying, they sent someone in, they said, "Go tell Jesus to come out here and come talk to us, because I think all this Messiah business is really weird and kind of strange. He's just acting strange. So have him." And then what did Jesus do when the person came in and said, "Your mom and your brothers are outside"? What did Jesus do? Did he get up and run outside because that was the mother and his mother and brothers? Is that what he did? No. He stayed right where he was and fulfilled his mission, his purpose. And then he pointed to the people around him. He said, "This is my family. These are my mother and brothers." In other words, it's those who are in alignment are the ones who I focus on helping and taking care of, the ones who are in alignment with my purpose. So when you get a request, what should you do? Use the rule of 7 seconds. Just pause and meditate on the actual request you're receiving. And ask yourself a simple question. Does this align with my purpose? Or is this potentially going to take time and money and resources away from the purpose, from what I'm actually, my objective, from what I'm trying to accomplish over these next 400 to 600 days? That's how you do it. Use the rule of 7 seconds and ask yourself, does this align with my purpose? If you're in recovery from your trauma, take some time and default to saying no first. You can always go back and change your mind after you've said no, but when you say yes, then you are obligated. So default to saying no. And then what will happen? Well, if you take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month of just saying no to every request, initially what you've done now is built up a skill. You've built the muscle of being able to set the boundary, being able to prioritize the self-willed focus. You've built up the bravery to say no to people now for the rest of your life whenever you need to. You're no longer living in fear. You've created a new neural pathway in the brain that understands that it's okay, that you're safe when you say no to someone who demands of you your time and your resources and your energy. And your subconscious relearns a new way of thinking. You will retrain the subconscious mind. I have this option. Because it may be because of your past, you were trained to believe you did not have the option to say no. And so you're just defaulting to yes. but don't be a yes man or a yes woman. What about if someone tries to shame you? Then what do? You pause 7 seconds and you ask yourself, does this align with my purpose? If it does not align with your purpose, then default to no. Let that be the initial answer. What do we do with the shame? Nothing. We simply do not accept it. We accept no shame. Shame is not adaptive, it's maladaptive. We should never feel shame. Not toxic shame. There's politeness shame, like you should feel ashamed to act like, someone who doesn't have manners, right? But you should never allow someone else to control you with shame. No, no. You decide what you will feel guilt over and what you will not. But shame, thinking that you're less than others, thinking that you are wrong instead of what you did is wrong, that's maladaptive. That's toxic. Just reject it. Don't allow that into your lexicon of emotions. What if someone tries to rush you? Trying to use the rule of 7 seconds. They're like, hello, simple question. Can you come or not? Are you doing it or not? Are you going to help me or not? What do? Let's put up one of these. Let them know. Yeah, I'm thinking. If they keep trying to rush you, then you say, you know what? I'm going to need to think about this and go take more than 7 seconds now and take your time. Do not allow anyone to rush you. You are autonomous. You are not a slave to them. They do not have the authority to, there is no one here on earth who has the authority to demand that you must give them an answer on their schedule. No. Just 1 second. I need to think. What do you think about? Does this align with my purpose? If it doesn't, what do you say? I'm sorry, this doesn't work for me. That's it. Say no. What if someone tries to pressure you? Do not allow yourself to be pressured. Take 7 seconds, pause, analyze, ask yourself, does this align with my purpose? If it doesn't align with the purpose, then you say no. Well, how do we harmonize this with being self-sacrificing, right? Because like I mentioned, Jesus as an example, of course, he was self-sacrificing. It's by understanding that being self-sacrificing is not sacrificing everything for everyone all of the time. It's not literally sacrificing the literal self. Being self-sacrificing means that we sacrifice the right things for the right people at the right time. It means that we're willing to take some inconveniences, but we got to sacrifice the right things for the right people at the right time. And that takes analyzation, conscious analyzation. What we're doing when we're like, I feel pressured, I feel rushed, I feel ashamed, I feel guilty, that's just not objective. That's just allowing yourself to be led by the feelings. It's unhealed thinking, and we cannot live like that. So make the choice today to no longer be controlled by emotion, but instead to control the self, which in turn manages the emotions, and to be driven by purpose and objective. People have said that when you're in the room with Nelson Mandela, it's like he just knows something. It's just a look on his face. Like it's just a look of quiet, calm, confidence, like he knows something you don't know. Nelson Mandela, when he was a boy, he was a shepherd. He took care of the livestock and the animals. And he liked that because it made him get close to nature. As he got older, he became a political activist, fighting for what he believed in. He knew his objective. He wasn't perfect. And some of his decisions and choices landed him in prison for fighting for what he believed in. Nelson Mandela was in prison for 27 years. That amount of time, that'll break someone, right? Well, when we're held back, we get to choose if we will be broken, meaning taken out of alignment by what's happening. Nelson had the choice to decide if he would give up now on what he believed in. No doubt he must have thought at times, how will I make anything of my life? How am I going to be anything of any importance? I'm in jail. I feel like I'm falling behind my peers who are moving forward with their life. I bring that up because you may have felt feelings like that. As a survivor, it's like you've been held back. It's like you've been in jail. It's like you've been delayed 20 to 30 years, being stuck in abuse and trauma. So maybe you feel like, how am I going to make something of myself? How am I going to be able to catch up? I feel like I'm falling behind. But because Nelson stayed aligned, focused on his purpose, when he came out of prison, because he was eventually released, he was more powerful than ever. And he was eventually made the president of the country in which he spent 27 years in prison. He allowed the time to refine him, not break him. So if he knows something, if there's something he's thinking when he's in the room with you, something that's given him this sense of confidence, perhaps, is that he knows that when you're held back and you feel like you're not allowed to move forward, if you stay aligned with your purpose, that pullback will be like the pullback of an arrow. And when you're released, it will be with power and precision directly towards your goal and your focus. So I encourage everyone here, please stay in alignment. So hopefully this talk helped you to be able to do that and to apply these principles practically in your life. If you are a survivor and you're new here, you can use the website mindfree.org to get in touch with myself or a therapist that's trained by me. You can get a session booked, and you can join us in our live meetings. We're doing this every single Monday, every single Wednesday, rain or shine, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. In addition to that, you can take full advantage of the healing program by being in the trauma healing course. Trauma healing course is packed with videos that aren't available to the general public, where I'm teaching you everything that I would be telling you if we did a year of therapy together. And so it will help you to accelerate your healing. You should watch at least one video a day. And so if you can't afford the healing course, which is about $40 a month, then you'll need to watch the YouTube videos. One a day. It's a part of your edification. We need to be meditating every day. We need to be exercising every day. But from now on, whether we're an employee or an employer, we want to be focused. We want to be aligned with our purpose. So in addition to these resources that we're making available, we have a retreat coming up. It will be posted on the website soon for you to sign up for. It'll be held in Chicago in the month of June. So all the details will be on the website soon. And there's a book as well. I finished a book explaining how to heal yourself from complex trauma. And that book is available on Amazon. You can find the link on the website, mindfree.org. So I'm looking forward to working more with some of the new coaches and clinicians who have signed up to be trained. I'm looking forward to working with the survivors who are reaching out for sessions. And we're just making amazing progress. So many are healing so fast. I'm so proud of you all. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of your life and your healing journey. And I hope that you all have a wonderful evening. We'll see you Wednesday.